Hi and welcome to Dynamics Update. We are back with a new episode with a new release notes show, and as usually, I have my dear colleague Gustav Sundblad. Hello, Gustav.
Hello, Johan. How are you this rainy evening?
Rainy. It's
Rain.
boring. It's not fun at all, actually. But that's how it is. Swedish fall
Yeah.
slash winter. It you can't really differentiate it if you live in Stockholm or south of Stockholm. It's basically the same.
It's always exactly. It's just dark. that's a, that's
Dark,
a,
rainy, and cold as
yeah.
yes,
And
exactly.
daylight savings has not really helped the situation. So now it's just even darker.
No,
Yeah.
no,
But from
exactly,
something dark to
exactly.
something light and funny, right? The release notes. What have you
Yes.
been up to, Johan? Have you read through all of them and tested all of the new features?
Yeah, absolutely. Every single thing I've
Every single
tested.
one,
No,
especially
not
the
really, not
finance ones,
really.
right? Yeah.
Yep, yep. Especially the finance ones. No, so my main one is actually not in the release notes, and this because this one was actually a monumental shift. The word shook when this happened. One of my friends from the MVP community told me that he was able to deploy his first production Power Platform admin center environment in because it's in GA. So that basically means that new customers coming in to FNO who haven't yet been onboarded to LCS will actually not be onboarded to LCS with the prerequisites that they need to have certain attributes.
Yeah. They can't run commerce, for instance. Not yet.
No. So that's one thing. They can't be really, really huge. I think they are sort of just testing the ice a bit right now.
Yeah, yeah, but
But
it's really cool,
I
right? It's a very big. That's a huge milestone in the shift to PPAC, one dynamics, one the platform kind of story, right?
yep, yep,
It's very cool. That's a cool milestone.
yes, I think so too. I think so too.
Agreed. And
Uh,
and CSU is also coming, right? It's a preview right now, and CSU is coming to PPAC hopefully
yes,
soon. I'm trying to elaborate how that works as well. Maybe you can update separately on that.
yes. So what's your first one?
Just going with no particular order here, I just started with finance, and since I am a little bit interested in e-invoicing, I noticed our friends in Switzerland will get structured addresses in the QR code, and I took this just because I see this a little bit all over the place. This was listed on the release notes for Switzerland e-invoice. Basically, a lot of countries now you need to print a QR code on your documents to I'm not sure how it works in Switzerland, but in this case I think it's just you can have a QR for like addresses, but you also in some cases you need to print a QR code to indicate that you have properly received the document or sent it to the government. I noticed in one of the quality updates now for 45, the same kind of structure was released for Poland for KSEF, where they added the QR capability, but that came in a quality update, and this came in a feature. So I'm not sure why. It's a lot of things happening in a lot of countries in Europe right now from a regulatory perspective. So I imagine the the product team is having a full time catching up with all of the new demands. But yeah, that was my first one. QR codes on Swiss addresses.
Yes. So one of the things here, we have been talking a bit about the unified pricing management in the that is coming. I think it's still, isn't it still in preview, or has it been out of preview? I don't remember really, but in .46 we will get a couple of performance enhancements for the unified pricing management, which is an important part in getting prices correctly.
All right, very cool.
Yep.
So a lot of performance enhancements, I think, on the subscription billing, where I love the comment here. It says reduced chattiness in the sub-bill deferral recognition processing. And basically, batch is batch, and you can have a lot of chattiness, it's just fun to see that in the release notes, because that's more of a term you discuss when you analyze telemetry, right? But in subscription billing, there is a feature to kind of optimize how the batch processing is working, and you will see that when you look at batch telemetry, that you will see less noise basically in the processing. It's a flight that you need to enable, but then I would imagine that it comes as on by default very soon. Same with, I can check another one just in subscription billing as well, that they fixed a performance issue with the generation of invoices. Again, with the batch job performance, multi-threaded posting, so you have better parallelism, that's a hard word to pronounce, and faster execution time. So some fighting keys there, but if you're suffering from performance issues with subscription billing, you should look into this functionality on 46.
Yes, and when we are on the subject of saving time, this one will be a huge time saver, because apparently you can now create a sales order directly from the navigation page. So you don't have to go into all sales orders and click new. You can just click create sales order from the navigation menu. So
Right.
you will save at least one click every single time, which is
That's good.
good.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a very good comment. That's been, if you would have counted the amount of clicks that you do, that's something you should strive for in all projects, to kind of reduce the amount of clicks, right? It's not most clicks when he dies wins. It's the least clicks.
I mean,
Right?
there is a person at Microsoft who says that you have a finite amount of keystrokes in your lifetime, make them count. So I'm
Exactly.
guessing that you also have a finite amount of mouse clicks in your lifetime.
Yes.
So you need to be efficient with them.
Or Copilot prompt nowadays.
Yep. I think they count as keystrokes, so you
Yeah.
shouldn't make long prompts.
Unless you do voice, right? But let's not go down that path. My next one is commerce related, and it's pricing management. And I mean, pricing management is all over the release notes. For each release notes, there's a lot of things coming. In this particular one, it's the custom pricing attributes. So you can add and you can implement your own custom request handlers and use the logic. You could do that previously as well in the pricing engine, but now this is a way to kind of merge it into pricing management, where you might have these complicated scenarios where standard just doesn't cut it. You need to do your own attributes for pricing. There are some very complicated scenarios out there. So yeah, it's properly described how you can do it. You need to use the pricing attribute link table. It's basically you define a pricing attribute, set it as custom, and then you implement it into your pricing scenarios in the CSU logic. It's very cool, but I hope I never end up in a situation where I have to write custom attributes for pricing, but who knows?
Yep. So then we have a preview thing. I usually don't usually bring up previews, but in this case, it's for one of my favorite areas, and I might be a bit weird for thinking that data entities in DMF is a good thing. But we will get a specific data entity for transferring fixed assets between legal entities.
All right, I don't know why you say that. I love data entities. I think they are sometimes they are a bit misunderstood. If I say like that, I've seen very, very horrible implementations of entities where people just see them as a way to get data into the system. I can do anything I want with them. But if you work with data entities correctly, they can be great. I mean, the async nature of DMF, maybe in the OData perspective that might be different, but the async nature of DMF is the best way to integrate to Dynamics. In my experience.
I mean, I actually, that was actually one of the things that when we started working with F&O like 11 years or so ago, when they released it, I thought that one of the big things was actually the data input output functionality, that we had so many ways to get data in and out of the system, which we in most cases previously had to build. But now there are a lot of standard ways of getting data in and out. I mean, you have DMF, you have OData, you have all of the reporting patterns, you have open in Excel, which is a fantastic tool in my opinion.
Yeah.
I really love it because it makes it very intuitive to just open the grid in Excel, change things, and push them back into the system, which is, I mean, really, really convenient.
Yeah, but also dangerous if you do it too much, right? So be careful out there when using. I also actually use the grid itself nowadays. In some scenarios, let's say I need to reserve or release a lot of transfer orders for picking. I can do the grid functionality to automatically populate the same field with a lot of values. So the grid itself has some Excel capabilities now. We covered from the release notes as well. I think a lot of grid functionality, but you're right. It's a million ways to do it, but you need to look at what you're trying to do.
I actually learned that last week when I was at the conference that you could click the two dots at the end of the grid.
Exactly.
I haven't seen that before. That was the first time ever I saw.
That's really cool. Or you can do it the cool way and use key combinations, right? About the keystrokes, you can do Alt-T-O, and then you get in. If you want to. I know some people still do they don't want to filter using mouse, so we do. I think it's Control-G or whatever to bring up. I'm not there yet, but bring up the filtering. But now we're down memory lane here, so let's go back. Was it your turn or my turn?
So I don't have that many more actually. So if
you
have more,
I have a couple of them.
Go ahead.
I'll take the biggest one. The biggest news, at least, is again pricing related, and it's calculate prices and discounts without creating sales orders is the header. And what it is basically a way to kind of use custom service or custom logic to call dynamics in this case, and get pricing management logic. If you have CSU, and this is where I have a little bit of a problem with this, it's very helpful. If you don't have CSU, you don't maybe want to buy a CSU license just to get the capability to be able to do price requests and order capture. You might want to do a price request towards Dynamics backend directly, right? And that's where this comes in. So it's a good example. So it gives you a way to kind of integrate from an external solution and trigger the pricing management engine to get the unified experience that you're after. You don't want to have a disconnect in your pricing story, right? You want to configure your prices in pricing management, and you want those prices to apply regardless if you create a manual sales order, if you integrate from an external system using DMF, or if you integrate using custom service or whatever. So basically what this is a way for you to do that without using CSU. And that's great if you're not using commerce. It's sad because I really love the commerce scale unit. We had Patrick, our friend, on the show earlier as well, a great ambassador for the CSU, and I completely share his opinion that it is a great technical product. It is sometimes hard to drive the conversation with the CSU because it comes with a specific license. So you have to, if you're using commerce, you have a CSU, then great, keep using it because it's a fantastic product. I don't believe it's covered by throttling. It's a great product to capture orders, to expose prices, to expose stock on hand with the help of IBS as well. So you need to be mindful of this. It's a great tool, but if you have the CSU, why do you need this? Maybe not. Or if you want to go away from the CSU, if you only have it as a pricing tool, then maybe you can build something here with unified pricing instead. So now it's again back to the same thing you raised there, Johan, that you have multiple ways now to solve the same kind of challenge, right? So which one should I use? But it's really cool, right? It's there and it can be used, and it definitely will fit in a lot of scenarios.
Yep. So, as I said, I don't have any.
Yeah, I have a couple of. I mean, you and I also in the other chat today or a few days back, we discussed the batch telemetry. That's also coming as a feature, right? But
yes.
Right now you have a lot of telemetry, and we need to do another podcast on telemetry, I think, to deep dive into it. But you have regular telemetry, App Insights, where you just click the switch. We have the ISM telemetry, where it's something you need to bring in, but it's available on GitHub to give you additional telemetry and dashboards from Fast Track. And now in 46, you have the batch telemetry, additional capabilities with telemetry emitted from finance and operations, and dashboards as a good starting point that are available on GitHub. So the difference here is that this is a feature in 46, but it is backported, or will be backported at least, back to version 44. But then I think you need a flight key to enable it. It might come in a QU quality update to those versions, but I still think right now it's flight key controlled, right? Do you know?
Yes, it is. Up until 45, I enabled it in 45, and I had to do the flighting key. So
okay,
if you need it, then you need to file a support case with Microsoft per environment to get it enabled.
Yeah, exactly. So you can. It's a very helpful tool. If you don't have batch monitoring now, you could have built it yourself. Then you should definitely look into this, or you should do that anyway as a means to kind of get rid of stuff that you built on your own. So that was one, batch telemetry. I also had another thing on commerce, or two things on commerce, really. One is, I think you mentioned this as well before the call, Johan, the generated extension SQL script. This is very technical, but you need to sometimes change or extend the channel database in the CSU, and nowadays you do that with scripts in commerce, and you deploy the package, and that automatically adds field or extension tables or trigger points or whatever. But now it's a new feature where you can you build this in backend dynamics instead. So you have a generated extension SQL script section. It's under the scheduler subjobs page. So you kind of use it as a starting point. You can add or modify tables in ChannelDB, and then you can flow data from backend or back to Dynamics as well. So it's connected, which makes sense to the scheduler subjobs, scheduler jobs, kind of the built-in integration, if you will, between channel database and Dynamics. So I'm not sure, but I think this is a way to kind of mitigate problems that you might have with deployment of metadata towards the CSU. So here you would get more control and more accurateness into your metadata. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I haven't tested it yet. I will as soon as I have some time over. But it will help you to get the data flows between backend Dynamics and CSU in a better shape. Also, and maybe the last one, depends on how much time we have, there is also a migration script to streamline the migration towards unified pricing management. So again, a lot of features coming for unified pricing within commerce. This will help you to move over from previous pricing system setup to the unified pricing. And you need to try that out, of course, depending on how much customizations you have. But if you don't have customizations and just used trade agreements and price disc and line discounts, hopefully it will be an easier transition for you into pricing management.
Yep. Cool.
So yeah,
I think that's it for today, actually.
Yeah.
So we'll be back with a new episode very, very soon.
Definitely. Thank you, Johan.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.